Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. His Excellency Dr. Mohamed bin Mubarak Juma, Minister of Education and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Higher Education Council. Her Excellency Fatima bin Ja'far al-Sayrafi, Minister of Tourism. Your Excellencies, our esteemed guests, welcome to the opening ceremony of the second edition of the Global Higher Education Exhibition, ghedex Bahrain 2024. It is a great honor to welcome His Excellency Dr. Mohamed bin Mubarak Juma, Minister of Education and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Higher Education Council, for his presence at ghedex Bahrain 2024. We would also like to extend our gratitude to all the officials from the Ministry of Education and Higher Education Council for their efforts and great support to ensure the success of this event, which aims to be of benefit to the youth. ghedex Bahrain 2024 creates a platform that brings together educational and training institutions and students looking to develop their academic paths. The exhibition provides distinctive opportunities to explore the latest academic programs and educational opportunities available, and forms an interactive arena that allows students, parents, officials, and academics from inside and outside the Kingdom of Bahrain to connect with local universities and colleges, international universities, academic institutes, and other concerned parties in the field of education. The diverse features of the exhibition include the Technical Education and Vocational Training Exhibition, TrainX, the Private, International, and Boarding School Expo, SchoolX, the Human Capital Development Expo, and the International Conference on Career and Education Counseling. The event also includes the ghedex Awards for Excellence in Education and Human Capital Development, which acknowledges the leading institutions in the field of education, as well as the Student Enterprises section to support new and innovative ideas from students. Esteemed guests, let us welcome our guest of honor, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed bin Mubarak Juma, Minister of Education and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Higher Education Council, to the stage to present his speech.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أسعد الله صباحكم جميعا بكل خير. Your Excellency, Fatima Ja'far al-Sayrafi, Minister of Tourism, thank you very much for being present with us today. Excellencies, ambassadors, and delegates from neighborly and friendly countries, thank you very much for being present with us today. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here at the exhibition's World Bahrain and wish our distinguished guests a pleasant stay in the Kingdom of Bahrain. The Kingdom of Bahrain is honored to host the second edition of the Global Higher Education Exhibition 2024, confirming the bonds of constructive and fruitful cooperation between the Ministry of Education, the Higher Education Council, and the Oman International Trade and Exhibitions. On this occasion, I'd like to express my appreciation to the Oman International Trade and Exhibitions. Thank you very much for its keenness to hold this edition, stressing our commitment to further strengthen our joint cooperation for the benefit of the higher education sector in the Kingdom of Bahrain. I also express my thanks and gratitude to higher education institutions, internationally, regionally, and locally, for their keenness to participate in this exhibition and outline the educational opportunities they will provide for students and their parents and showcase their academic programs. There is no doubt that hosting this exhibition in its second edition for the year 2024 confirms our shared commitment and provides the conditions for success necessary for its sustainability, which would further support the higher education sector. Hosting the exhibition also reflects the commitment of the Kingdom of Bahrain under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, with the support and follow-up of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to further develop the education system in general and the higher education sector in particular, to keep pace with the latest international trends. The Kingdom of Bahrain is keen to attract exhibitions and conferences that contribute to consolidating this vital industry, enhancing its pivotal role in diversifying sources of income and supplying the national economy in a way that benefits the various productive sectors. In line with the 2030 Bahrain economic vision based on competitiveness, sustainability, and justice. The Global Higher Education Exhibition, Bahrain 2024, begins today within the framework of the national strategy, which aims to strengthen Bahrain's standing as an attractive hub and destination capable of hosting various regional and international events and conferences. The Kingdom of Bahrain has worked tirelessly to modernize the infrastructure necessary to host major exhibitions and conferences and streamline its laws and legislations to encourage investments in the education sector. This second edition provides a platform for representatives of higher education institutions, experts, decision makers, stakeholders, and interested parties to showcase their programs and academic specializations, exchange experiences, and explore opportunities for academic and technological investment in this vital sector. The 2024 edition also includes a distinguished package of accompanying activities and events, including the Technical Education and Vocational Training Exhibition, the International Conference on Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and the ghedex Awards for Excellence in Higher Education. I take this opportunity to value the initiative of the organizers who decided to launch the Excellence in Education Award, featuring two categories that target higher education institutions and schools, which will have a profound impact on the development of the educational sector and further motivate universities and schools. In addition to the Excellence in Human Capital Development Award, which targets human development departments in government and private institutions based on the belief in the importance of developing human resources, which represent the real wealth that supports development efforts in countries for investment in human capital as an investment in the present and the future. In this fast-changing world, universities are poised to play a fundamental role in developing education, keeping pace with the latest academic practices in the world, diversifying their specialization, disseminating modern knowledge and sciences, improving societies, and empowering and shaping young minds on the path of creativity and innovation. To our dear students from Bahrain and elsewhere, I say, seize this opportunity and make the most of this exhibition and other events and functions to take stock of various opportunities and academic programs that they wish to join, which open the doors to high-quality specializations and vocational training opportunities, build future skills, and develop human resources. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the wonderful and insightful speech. We now invite Mr. Amr Abdallah Ba'aboud, Chief Executive Officer of the organizing company, to introduce us to ghedex Bahrain and all the interesting features of the exhibition.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellency, Dr. Mohamed bin Mubarak Juma, Minister of Education and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Higher Education Council. Her Excellency Fatima Al-Sayrafi, Minister of Tourism. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone, and welcome to ghedex 2024 in the stunning exhibition world Bahrain, in the beautiful kingdom of Bahrain. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who has contributed to making this education and human capital event possible. Your presence and support and participation means the world to all of us. First and foremost, we are grateful to His Excellency the Minister Dr. Mohamed bin Mubarak Juma and Dr. Farzana Al-Maraghi, Minister of Education Advisor for Higher Education and Research, and her team for their strategic support and collaboration with the ghedex organizing team and Exhibition World Bahrain, working as a team tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the success of this event. Your hard work, dedication, and attention to detail have not gone unnoticed, and we are truly grateful for everything you have done. I would like to thank our sponsors for their generous support: Tamkeen, Zain, ASU Applied Science University, UTB, University of Technology Bahrain, British Council, General Assembly, and BTEC. Your investment in education helps us create meaningful experiences and opportunities for everyone involved. I want to express my deepest appreciation to our esteemed moderators and speakers. Your insights, expertise, and dedication to education truly enlightens us all. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and inspiring us with your passion for learning during this international conference on career and higher education counseling and the HR Leaders International Conference. Our esteemed jury panel, award winners, and all those who contested in the ghedex Awards for Excellence in Education and Human Capital Development, we appreciate you and the spirit you bring to healthy competition and achievement. Wishing you all the best of luck in these upcoming awards. I would like to extend a warm thank you to all the exhibitors as well, who are showcasing their educational resources, services, and innovations at the ghedex exhibition. Your contributions play a vital role in shaping the future of education, and we are grateful for your commitment to excellence. The students, parents, teachers, and counselors, HR professionals with us today, we encourage you to engage with all the activities and opportunities available at this event, including the counseling zone, student enterprises, where around 50 student businesses are getting real-world exposure to showcase their products, solutions, and businesses, connect with other businesses, potential business partners, investors, and buyers. Last and not least, I want to thank our media partners for making everyone aware about this event. Your presence enriches our collective experience and reinforces the importance of collaboration in the field of education and human capital. In closing, let us continue to work together to promote lifelong learning, innovation, and excellence in education. Thank you once again to everyone who has contributed to making this education exhibition a resounding success. Wishing you all a fruitful and inspiring experience ahead. Thank you, wa shukran.
Thank you, Mr. Amr. Dear guests, let us welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Omar Al-Ubaidli, Director of Research at Bahrain Center for Strategic, International, and Energy Study, Dirasat.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellency Dr. Mohamed Juma, Minister of Education, Your Excellency Ms. Fatima Al-Sayrafi, Minister of Tourism, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. Thank you also to the organizers, His Excellency Amr Al-Ba'wood, for the invitation to present today. I'll give the topic I was assigned was how counseling can contribute and career guidance can contribute to better outcomes in higher education. So what I'd like to talk about is how you can use nudging in career guidance. And this is based on some research by, let me bring up the names again. This is based on some research by a paper by Mette Trier Damgaard and Helena Sicht Nielsen in the 2018 Education Economics Review. A very good paper. So these two faces may be familiar. The one on the left is Cass Sunstein, who's a Harvard professor, and the one on the right is Robert Thaler, who's at the Graduate School of Business in the University of Chicago. And they're famous, well, most famous for producing a book called Nudge, which looked at how you can use very simple, non-invasive interventions to help people in decision-making. And one of the quotes they have in their book, which is presented, I'll read out very briefly: people will need nudges for decisions that are difficult and rare, for which they do not get prompt feedback, and when they have trouble translating aspects of the situation into terms that they can easily understand. And this is something that very much applies to career choices, whether it's picking a major in university or picking a career. Once you can start picking where you're going to do your internship, training, and so on and so forth. So given this reality, we should be looking to use nudges where we can to help to support students and people in the early stages of their career. Now, the problem is that when you're trying to make these decisions, there are what we call behavioral barriers to educational attainment. People have, the human mind is very powerful, but it's imperfect, and it has what's called a series of cognitive biases which impede decision-making. Some of the ones which apply particularly to the case of educational choices are self-control, so people have limited self-control. It's difficult for them to sometimes make decisions based on their long-term interest. They may pick a subject which is easier, even if it means lower benefits in the long run. People have limited attention and cognitive ability. If you've ever looked at a course catalog in university, the choices can be bewildering and can be very difficult to digest that information and make an informed choice. Loss aversion, people can be sometimes overly scared of making a wrong decision. Default bias, so sometimes people just whatever the default choice is, they'll stick with that without necessarily giving it the attention it deserves. And then the image reflects what we call social image concerns. People also are very strongly affected by their friends, by their peers, and this can lead to some inferior decisions. And then finally, biased beliefs. People, because of their limited information, may have assumptions that certain careers and certain majors will have better outcomes than they would like, and this can lead to distorted decision-making. Now, how can counseling-related nudges help? How can these sort of interventions that Thaler and Sunstein describe in their book and that are exposed in the research that I mentioned at the beginning help people make better decisions? And very much career guidance is a vehicle for delivering these nudges, whether it's career guidance in a higher education institution or in through ministries of labor or whatever system. So they can change defaults. So rather than assuming that put students on a path, a default path that is potentially better, and then they'll hopefully stick to that. Framing. So framing is a very simple issue. Sometimes the way in which choices are presented without actually changing the material consequences can help. And here, career counselors, part of the skill they have is understanding what the kind of frame that will help their student make the best decision is. Peer group manipulation. So again, career counselors can present information about what peers are doing to students in order to help them make better decisions. They should tell them that, well, this many students took this choice, or the students who took this choice achieved the following outcome, and the way in which that information is presented can definitely improve decisions. Deadlines, for sure. When I was in high school and we had deadlines for university applications, those deadlines which were internal to the school I was studying at were critical to me staying on track and applying to the universities and getting my applications, because many people without these deadlines would miss. And goal setting, of course, career guidance, counselors are central to helping students put goals that are realistic and that help them build their confidence. Informational nudges, so very simple. The way in which the information is presented to the student can help them make more intelligent decisions. The career counselor will learn how to filter the information and pick out the most important parts. Assistance, obviously, and then boosting skills to alleviate self-control problems. So we all suffer from, sometimes some myopic thinking, some short-termism. And again, career guidance counselors are very skilled in helping us develop more long-term thinking strategies. Now, based on the research, what we find is that it's very important that these interventions are tailored to the audience, and context is very important. So there are a lot of field experiments run, and by field experiments, I mean not experiments run in a laboratory on humans, I mean experiments run in the field. People working in career guidance will try different strategies and use randomized control and use that to estimate the impact of different strategies. And what they find is that, with the different nudges that Thaler and Sunstein and the research they spawned are deployed, the effect depends very much on the person. Some people, these nudges have no effect. Some people, these nudges may even have a negative effect, but some people do respond very positively to these nudges. And more importantly, And these characteristics are things which need to be studied and career counselors need to be aware of. And what these characteristics are highly sensitive both to the intervention itself and to the context in which it's being rolled out. Now, the challenge we have in the Arabian Gulf is that the level of field experimentation we have is very low. So this massive literature that is summarized in that education economics paper I mentioned, that is also summarized in the extensive work by Sunstein and Thaler, is basically research conducted in Western countries, often the UK and the US. And the context differs in the Arabian Gulf. We have many different situations, we have different students, we have different goals, different cultural contexts. And so it's very important that we address this shortcoming in this lack of field experimentation. So finally, what should we do? We should encourage more field experiments to study to help us refine our career counseling methods. We need to run field experiments professionally and consistently. If you look at the field experimental literature in the Arabian Gulf, it's very, very small across all fields, but certainly in the case of education economics. There are also cultural barriers to experimentation. One of the reasons why we don't have experimentation in the Arabian Gulf is that there's a culture of thinking that people who experiment are people who don't know what they're doing, and that somebody who doesn't know what they're doing doesn't need to experiment. And that's something which I think we need to overcome. People need to realize that admitting your ignorance and running an experiment is a way of demonstrating confidence and is a way of helping people get to better outcomes. And finally, career guidance counselors must work with social scientists trained in field experimental methods. In Bahrain, we have many excellent universities with very good educational departments of education. Just to give a few examples, University of Bahrain, Arabian Gulf University, Ahli University, a lot of personal colleagues who are excellent educational scholars working in Bahrain, and the same is true of all the Gulf countries. These educational scholars need to be working institutionally with ministries of education, with higher education institutions to run field experiments that can help us improve our career guidance. Thank you very much.